this is CJ.
And I'm Sarah.
From CJ's Keto Kitchen. So today we want to do kind of a different video. We're not going to do a cooking demonstration, or we don't have a great recipe for you. But we do want to talk about how to start keto.
Just some of the basics about what starting keto is like, maybe some little bits of information you might want to know.
Yes. So we're going to start today. If you see us looking down, we actually have some notes. And so we want to make sure that we don't just ramble all day long and not really
we might do some rambling
say
too.
anything.
Let's be honest.
All right. Okay, you want to take the first point?
Sure. So I think it's probably best to start off with what is keto? What is the ketogenic diet? And so it is a low carb, high fat diet, and it helps to lower your blood sugar and your insulin levels and help you lose fat. And it's also really, really good for diabetics because it can stabilize your insulin level. So it has a lot of health benefits. But basically the ketogenic diet is 75% fat, 20% protein, and only 5% carbs.
Yes, I agree with that.
So it's basically where you want to keep your proteins moderate. So usually that means between 1 and 1.5 I guess, ounces per kilogram of body weight, I think is what it averages out to be. So it's moderate protein. You don't want to eat too high of a protein like you would maybe in a standard low carb diet. So it's more of a moderate protein.
Yes. So I started the ketogenic diet, actually kind of joined you. Mm-hmm. You had already started. I was doing a kind of a standard low fat calorie counting diet, and decided to join you because you were doing keto,
right?
And I was eating here a lot anyway, and it just made sense for me to do the same thing. So I really didn't know that much about keto. I did do some research after I made the decision to do it. I started doing some research.
I think that's a good tip.
And what to do some research
is reading.
Yeah. Do some reading. Because there's a lot of information, there's a lot of good information, there's a lot of bad information, there's a lot of misinformation about keto, and so we'll put some resources in the notes so you can see some of the books that we read or that we recommend. And maybe
I think not just getting on the computer and generally looking at the ketogenic diet, I really do think reading books and things like that is
and maybe even
valuable.
We can probably even recommend some podcasts that where they can go over some really basic stuff, because everybody doesn't like to read.
That's been very helpful, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right, so what else?
We should probably talk about maybe some things that you would want to avoid on the ketogenic diet. And of course that's, sugar, any type of sugar.
Yeah.
Also wheat, grains of any kind, rice, potatoes, flour, all your white foods. And also things that are considered whole grain. Just because it's whole grain doesn't mean that it's part of this lifestyle. It's not part of the ketogenic diet.
Right.
So that's another thing that it would be wise to avoid on this. And also anything that is a vegetable oil is really not advised. When we're talking a high fat diet, we're talking things high in saturated fat, actually, like avocados, butter, cheese, coconut oil, things like that. So you want to avoid things like soybean oil and anything that is, a highly processed oil. Olive oil is fine, but any of your other oils, canola oil, things like that aren't advised. So when we're talking about a high fat diet, we're talking about high in natural saturated fats.
Right. Right. Because the whole point behind the ketogenic diet, as far as what your body's doing, is because you're reducing the amount of carbs, you're basically switching your body from burning glucose as fuel to burning fat as fuel. That's the big thing that you're really trying to accomplish by reducing the number of carbs that you're eating. So, like Sarah said, those are some foods to avoid. We probably should talk about some foods that you can eat.
Yes.
Though. Yeah.
Bacon.
Bacon. Oh yeah, bacon.
Yeah.
Lots of bacon.
Basically any kind of meat and fatty fish. So salmon is a really good choice. Low carb vegetables are definitely part of the ketogenic diet. So non-starchy vegetables, pretty much things that grow above the ground. So spinach, lettuce, cucumbers, of course avocados because they're naturally high in fat. Things that are green, broccoli, cauliflower, all of those are naturally very low in carb vegetables.
You have to watch corn.
Yeah.
Corn is higher in...
You want to stay away from like tubers, like potatoes and even sweet potatoes, because they're just so high in carbohydrates.
Right.
So.
But it feels like now that we're talking about the stuff you shouldn't eat, and we talked about what you can't eat, but I mean there are actually a lot of choices things that you can't eat. So I think one of the problems people have with the keto diet is they feel like they're so restricted.
Right.
Like they're so restricted.
Right.
And I guess that's what the whole the channel's about, to try to show you that it doesn't have to be restrictive,
right.
and that there's ways to make keto a lifestyle.
Right.
And so there's a big group,
a guide,
a group of food that we don't eat, there's still a lot of foods that we do eat, and we can do a lot of things with those foods and have enjoyable.
Well, and that's what we've tried to show in the recipes that we've posted so far, is that there's still a lot of tasty, home style, comforting recipes that you can eat and fix for your family and maybe alter them a little bit if your family's carb eaters. But for the most part, you're not missing out. A lot of things can be replaced or even left out, and you may not miss it depending on how things are made.
Right.
So.
All right. So what else do we have?
I think we should talk about the keto flu.
Okay.
Neither of us really had that happen, but there is such a thing called the keto flu, where when you're first starting the ketogenic diet, sometimes you can feel run down, dizzy, kind of weak, just kind of achy, like you have the flu. And that's just your body transitioning from being a sugar burner and getting rid of all that glucose and stabilizing to where you're burning fat. And it shouldn't last very long. And some of the things that you can do to help that pass is just making sure that your electrolyte balance is stable, using salt. They even make drops, I think they're called like Light Show, something, if you check Amazon, we'll leave some links in the description bar. Just things that you can put in your water just to make sure that your electrolytes are stable, and that can really help some of those uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah. I got a little irritable. I did remember that when I was kind of transitioning, and I did get a little bit tired, but it wasn't. I guess one of the things we should bring up about that is those symptoms don't happen to everyone, so that's the first thing. But if they do, they will pass.
Yeah.
One of the big things with this is you want to just keep going. You don't want to stop just because. I mean, think about this. You have been eating a certain way your entire life, probably most of us, and so you're changing the way you eat. You're changing the way your body, accesses fat and uses what it uses for fuel. And so you've got to understand there's a transition, and with any kind of transition in your body, there's going to be changes in your body. So just don't, just hang in there, don't quit. And I think that's a big part of, because I see a lot of people start keto, but they quit just way too soon before they start seeing the benefits.
Well, I think coupled with what you've talked about, I think sometimes people try and make the ketogenic diet too difficult. Yes. Ketogenic diet too difficult. Yes, it's wonderful. All the recipes that we're making, they're wonderful, they're yummy, and they're tasty. But sometimes doing simple keto is really where it's at. You sit down to dinner and you have a meat, you have a vegetable, you have fat with it, you call it good. You don't have to always have like Martha Stewart over at your house. Right. I mean, it can be really simple, easy food, and I think that's sometimes where people get overwhelmed with the ketogenic diet, thinking that it has to be, this amount of protein, this amount of vegetables, and this amount of fat. Sometimes you can just eat intuitively. Eat until you're full. Eat until it feels good, but have it be simple food. Right. You were saying, I think, in the past that a lot of times when you started out, you just would go and get like a rotisserie chicken and a bag of spinach.
Rotisserie chicken was like one of my best go-to meals because it was easy. It was already cooked. And like I said, spinach.
It's crispy. You can eat all the skin and all the yummy stuff that, you've always been taught so bad for you, and really it's good for you. And so, just intuitively eat. So I think sometimes people, when they start this lifestyle, they get frustrated because they think that there's going to be so much to it, and really there's not. It's just simple food. And eating out is another, I think, issue for people. I think they get concerned with a ketogenic diet, but for the most part, you could go almost anywhere and be able to eat out. I mean, eggs are always an option if you're going someplace for breakfast, eggs and bacon. A lot of your sit-down places like Denny's and things like that, they always have breakfast food as an option.
Yeah, at all times of the day.
Bunless burgers.
Yeah.
Salads.
Yeah, we do bunless burgers all the time. Salads. Yeah. And you know what? The restaurants, not even a big deal.
No.
I go to McDonald's all the time, order a double quarter pounder with cheese, no bun.
In fact, a lot of restaurants nowadays have a low carb button on their cash register, and they just poke it.
There's a lot of people, doing keto. A lot of people doing
or they're gluten free or some other thing.
Because a lot of times when people start keto, it feels weird to them. But when you start getting out there and start doing it, it's not that big of a deal.
In fact, I've never gotten a weird look.
Yeah, it's not
so far, and I've been doing keto for a year, so nobody's ever given me a you want what? They're just like, okay, whatever.
Whatever, it's not a big deal. One of the things that I would stress when people really make a decision,
a commitment
to do it. Yeah.
At least try it for a significant while, a couple of months.
Make a commitment to do it because it does work. Sure, you might need to make adjustments, but you have to make adjustments of any kind of. I hate to call it a diet, but you have to make adjustments of any kind of diet you try. You're gonna have to make adjustments. There's a period of time. There's things you have to kind of figure out.
Right.
And so keto is no different.
Right.
We live keto as a lifestyle, but give it time and make a commitment to it. I think we should talk though about when you first start keto, give up sweetener. You should really at least for 4 weeks go without having any kind of sweetener. I mean sugar. So we're talking. So of course we've already said you shouldn't have sugar. We've already said that.
We're talking about sugar substitutes.
Yes, sugar substitutes.
Alcohols.
Yeah, we're saying that if you're going to do keto, you should.
If you really want to give your body a full chance. To break away, because even artificial sweeteners can give you an insulin response, and it can be difficult. Right. It can make you crave carbs. It can make you crave sweets. And I know that artificial sweeteners are a really red light topic for both of us. Yeah. And it's something that we personally have decided we want to get back to basics on, is trying to avoid the artificial sweeteners just to see if that helps give us a boost to continue our weight loss. Because we're both a significant amount of weight loss in, and we both have goals that we would like to continue to reach. In losing a bit more weight. So
you want to tell how much weight we lost?
Yeah, we both lost over 60 pounds.
Yeah. So we both have, but we want to continue.
We want more.
Right, we want more. My goal was to lose 100 pounds, and so I've got another 40 to go. And like Sarah mentioned, we've been talking about, I guess, kind of going back to some of the basics, and
because I know for me, when I first started keto, I really did not hardly eat any artificial sweetener at all.
No, you're right. I didn't either.
And I got used to not having, sweets after dinner, even though they're sugar-free sweets. Mm-hmm. And we do make recipes on this channel. We do have that content out there. So we're not saying you're never going to get to have that, or, you can't enjoy something with your family or a birthday or a special occasion or holidays. We're just saying what is best for daily keto living.
Mm-hmm. Right. So the sugar-free, I mean, we're just getting through Thanksgiving, and we had a great sugar-free cheesecake. Yeah. And we're trying to finish that before we kind of get back to basics, but we still had it, and we're still enjoying that.
And if you didn't see that particular recipe, we'll link it below so that you can watch
So we're not saying you're never going to have anything sweet again.
Right.
We're just saying that when you first start keto and you make that commitment to do it, also make the commitment that at least for 4 weeks, you're just going
to give your body a chance to get rid of that sweet tooth.
Yeah.
So that you can learn that insulin balance and really keep your insulin levels stable, because that's basically the point of this lifestyle, is keeping your insulin low, keep your fat burning high, and the less you confuse your body, I think the better.
Yeah. All right, so I think that is kind of a how to get started.
Yeah, and we might do a part 2 if we find. And if you have any questions or comments, anything you'd like us to talk about, anything you want to ask us, please,
something we maybe missed because
definitely, or just something you're wondering you want somebody to talk about, nobody's talking about it, or anything that you would like to ask us, we're an open book. So go ahead and leave it a question for us, and we will definitely answer you either in the comment box or in a future video.
Yeah, and if you have some, since we never know who's watching, I mean, we don't claim to be experts.
Not at all. We're not doctors.
Right, we're not doctors, we're not experts. We're just, telling you what we've done, what's been successful for us, and that's all we're trying to do is share. But I guess where I was going with that is that if you're out there and you've had, we just had a comment the other day, someone who had lost, 70 pounds?
Yeah.
And we were like, wow, awesome, And so I think he had done it in like 5 months or something like that. And so we like to hear those.
Amazing.
We get inspired by other people's stories too. So if you're out there and you're watching this channel, we want to hear from you. We want to hear things that you've done, things that you've tried, things that have worked for you. We want to hear that too, because what we're trying to do is build a community here.
A sharing community.
Right. We're not just trying to make ourselves like we're the big experts.
No.
Because we're not. We're figuring this out as we go along. We're always reading. We're always listening. We're watching, YouTube videos.
Other people's ketogenic content.
We're watching other people's ketogenic content as well. So, anyway, thanks for watching this video. Be sure to subscribe, and also feel free to share this with family or friends who you may know. So also subscribe, but also hit the notification button so you'll know that when we drop new videos, you'll be alerted for that. Thanks for watching CJ's Keto Kitchen.
Bye.
Bye.